Well, I'm Bhante Saranapala. I'm known as the urban Buddhist monk.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I wear many hats actually. So,
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you do certainly do. I mean, that's for sure. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you about because you do so many different things. So, one of the things I wanted to ask you about is Buddhism in general, and just to get a better understanding what Buddhism is. Is it a religion or is it more of a spiritual way of being? And maybe you can differentiate between that and maybe something like the monotheistic, religions in the West we're so used to.
well, it depends on how you take it, okay?
Okay.
But when we look at the fundamental principles of Buddhism, the main goal, the purpose of Buddhist practice is to help people gain liberation from personal sufferings and pains.
Okay.
And that is the main goal. That is what Buddha discovered, that is what he achieved, and that is what he taught the world. And it depends on the personality of the people. It depends on what they're looking for. If people, let's say, when we look at the teachings of the Buddha, we can find uh, the, the essence, the purpose of Buddhist practice for the happiness for now, happiness for later, and for absolute happiness.
That's one of the things I love about Buddhism. And just when you be around a Buddhist monk or anybody who practices Buddhism, you guys are always smiling. There's always that joy and
Yeah,
that sense of well-being and happiness.
yeah.
So what are some of the things that, somebody who's listening to this, what can they do to kind of start formulating something like that in their life, start building that happiness and the joy? Is there anything that they can do? Because that's one of the things I find about Buddhism is so special, is that you're
Yeah,
always happy. Like, what's the
yeah,
secret? What's the
yeah.
secret?
The secret is, I think, it's very simple. Live a very simple life. Now, let me explain to you
Please.
these two words, the dukkha and sukha. I don't
Okay.
know whether you have heard about these two words.
No, never.
Uh, Dukkha has been translated into English as suffering.
Okay.
I know the English word suffering has a negative meaning, and people don't want to hear about suffering.
No, definitely not. Nobody likes to suffer.
Yeah. Uh, and the opposite of dukkha is called sukha.
Okay.
And sukha means happiness. Okay?
Okay.
So now we need to understand the literal meaning of these two words. Let's say when we talk about the suffering, it doesn't give us the real sense of meaning of what Buddha meant by dukkha, the
Okay.
suffering. It comes from two words, du and ka. Du means difficult, and ka means to do, or handle, or to bear. So dukkha means something very difficult to handle, difficult to bear, emotionally, psychologically, and physically. And sukha means, it's again the same thing. Su means easy, and ka means to do. So sukha means easy to do, easy to handle, easy to bear, emotionally, psychologically, and physically.
Okay.
So now, I can ask you a question. What is so difficult to handle emotionally?
I guess the just feelings in general, our feelings, our emotions. Then I guess we call it negative emotions.
Okay, those are very difficult to handle.
Yeah,
And then all these negative emotions are coming from the negative things,
that's true.
right?
Yes.
And then all negative emotions are coming from the mind.
That is true. Yeah, we're always constantly
Yes.
thinking.
So now, the main purpose of Buddhist uh, philosophy is to learn to fix our own mind.
Okay. So basically, we got to kind of fix our thinking, how we think and feel. Is
Yeah.
that,
So
yeah.
yeah. So let's say if you do the wrong things, if you speak the wrong words, if you think the wrong thoughts, what do you think?
That makes, you know what? You know, it's so funny because I'm listening to you and I'm going, that is the simplest thing. That's so smart. Like, that's so simple.
Yeah.
But you know, how often actually we actually do that? Like, I mean, I guess that really ties into being mindful of
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so what we do is now in the modern psychology, we talk about a form of therapy, a form of practice or mechanism. It's called the shifting attention. So our attention are always staying with the negative things. So now we are training our mind to put its attention to the positive things,
Okay.
wholesome things, healthy things. So now we are practicing Dharma, first of all, to become mindful of what's causing the problems in our life. And then if we know them, there are a few steps. First, there are 4 steps that we follow.
Okay.
These are called, we call Sangvara, Pahana, Bhavana, Anurakkhana. Sangvara means prevention.
Okay.
Pahana means elimination. Bhavana means cultivation or development. And Anurakkhana means preservation. So what does it mean? So prevention. So we need to prevent from unwholesome deeds. Or let's say we have done something negative, consciously or unconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly, we made mistakes. We all make mistakes, okay?
Yes.
And well, it doesn't mean we are bad people.
Whew, thank you on that one. Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
that's why Buddhism doesn't say we are sinners.
Yeah. So that's the one thing you know, I really see the difference between Buddhism and like Catholicism or Christianity or any other religions. It's like there's more of a persecution aspect to it. Yeah.
So we could be sinners, but we are not sinners for good.
Uh,
And we are practicing dharma to unsin ourselves.
okay. That
But
makes
unsinning ourselves can't be done by anyone else, only by you.
by you.
That is what Buddha taught. So now, how do you unsin yourself? First, recognize that you have made mistakes, you have done something wrong, and it is hurtful. And so now, you prevent from, you train your mind to prevent from repeating those things,
Those mistakes.
those mistakes. Okay.
Okay.
And then as you prevent from making those mistakes or not repeating them, and then let's say you are here, but you are still holding it on to some mental images. You're thinking of them, and then you make an effort to remove those thoughts already present. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
And then to go further, then in order to stop your mind thinking of making those mistakes again, and then you train your mind to do good. So cultivate good. Always train your mind to do something good, something good every day.
Just something small, just to kind of build on that and just keep
Yeah, that's
repeating
right.
on.
That's right. Maybe random act of kindness, a little act of kindness, or whatever way you could do, like, and anything, something wholesome.
Yeah.
And
So even just like something as a smile at somebody, like just give them a smile.
yeah, you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
Just smile.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
It's so interesting because some, like you're saying, like the simplest things, like a smile, or just let somebody through in traffic, or help somebody. Like a lot of those things that we used to see a lot more, a lot of people have forgotten, and it's just a
Yeah,
little something. So you don't have to
yeah,
like give them $1 million, which would be nice, but
exactly.
just a simple smile, and it just just like acknowledgement. I see you here.
Yeah, exactly. So it is also, so we can train our mind to do something good in three ways. Physically, let's say you show your kindness to someone, uh, and maybe if you did not see your parents for some time, just surprise them. Hey, mom, I'm here.
Have you been talking to my mother? Because she's been asking me to come down for a long time. She says, "When are you coming down? When are you coming down? When are you coming down?" You know what? I might take you up on that offer. I think you've been talking to my mother, but yeah, definitely for sure. That's
Yeah,
uh,
and then when you drive around the city, and you see a homeless person in the intersection, and see whether you can give a bottle of water, or even a loonie or toonie, or something, that a portion of your lunch packet,
yeah,
right?
yeah, for
And,
sure.
and so you could do something like that. Let's say you haven't done those kind of things before. Now see whether you can do something good like that.
Now, my
And
question is, sorry to interrupt you. Now, as far as doing acts of kindness, what about kindness to yourself as well? Be more
right,
kind to yourself.
exactly. You do all these good things because you're showing kindness to yourself. You're being kind to yourself. If you're not doing good things, you're not being kind to yourself. So that's why we always say, there is a saying of the Buddha. If I translate that into English, it would be like this: if you love yourself, don't do any bad things.
That is so nice. That's so beautiful. That's,
Yeah,
there's always those inspiring quotes, on your website and Instagram and Facebook, stuff like
yeah,
that. There's always those beautiful quotes that you put out, and
yeah,
it's always so perfect and poignant at the right time when
yeah,
when somebody needs to hear this.
yeah,
You always put up the right quote, and it's just like, wow, that makes total sense. And it's not, and again, it's nothing like it's not quantum physics we're listening to. It's just simple, basic kindness and being kind to
yeah.
yourself. Like it's beautiful, beautiful
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, if you really, really love yourself, care for yourself, do something good. The
Okay.
thing is, how do we, like in Buddhism, uh, there are three things that we do, okay? Like first is giving. You need to practice giving, be generous.
Okay.
Giving makes someone very happy. Even neuroscientists have proven by doing the neuroscience research, one of the number one reasons behind happiness is giving, being generous, sharing. And I know the taste of giving. I have been doing it since my childhood. I learned it from my grandparents, my parents, my monastic teachers in Sri Lanka, and also coming here. I'm very happy to tell you.
I appreciate that, and that's why I really wanted you on here, is just to tell you about that. Now, I just got a question. Now, you spoke about as how you learned from your grandparents and your parents. Were they Buddhists too as well? Like, how did you find Buddhism, or did Buddhism the Buddhism find you? How did that happen?
I think I found Buddhism.
Yeah.
It's not that Buddhism found me, and I was born in Bangladesh. So Bangladesh used to be a Buddhist country in the history, but later on it became an Islamic country. So in this Islamic majority country, there are traditional Bengali Buddhists too, very small percentage. So my grandparents were Buddhists and my parents are Buddhists. And I think so they used to take me to our village temple. And so I had this, I was brought up in that monastic environment. Our house is very next to the monastery. And and then my teacher visited our temple and he asked me whether, he asked a group of kids, I was there, he said, who would like to become a monk? Then I raised my hand like this. So he knew my parents. He said, then ask your parents to come and see me. So I went home, I told my parents, you know, our teacher would like to see you. So following morning, we went to the monastery. And so I said, your son said yes to become a monk. So what do you think? So my parents said, okay, you know, if he likes to become a novice monk, let him be. So I was very happy. So my teacher took me to his temple and he ordained me. And so I became a novice monk at the age of 10.
Wow.
And my teacher in Bangladesh sent a group of novice monks to Sri Lanka for monastic training and education. And there I was so fortunate to receive the monastic training and education at a prominent monks training college founded by a very prominent Buddhist monk, highly respected. And so I grew up there for 11 years. I got my monastic training education. Then I came to this country. But I personally believe, Michael, you know,
Yeah.
I had been a Buddhist monk in my past life
You
because
know, I so believe that. You know, when you were speaking about that, it's like this is not. This is so amazing how your story is. Like it's just like it's like part of you. Like, and I think that's even with my own, you know, limited connection to Buddhism. I feel like there's an old connection myself because
yeah,
even in my my logo, I have a very young child as a Buddhist
uh-huh.
in an actual garden with beads, you know, doing his beads and doing his prayers and stuff like that. So it's like there's that connection. But yeah, I can definitely see that for
Maybe
sure.
there's a connection to that's why you got connected with me.
You know what? That is so true. Like it's so true. A lot of people I know now, I've met up with several Buddhists. I have
Yeah,
actually one of my own students who I train with, who I
yeah,
teach diagnostic intuition. She's a
yeah.
Buddhist.
Uh-huh.
And so we've had some discussions about Buddhism too as well. But
Yeah.
that's fantastic. So another thing I found out about you too, you have your doctorate too as well. Is that in what's your doctorate in? Is it in theology or
Yeah, in religious studies.
religious studies? So you covered the whole gamut. So you're not only a Buddhist, you know it all.
Well, yeah, I did my bachelor's degree at U of T in religious studies and Western philosophy and psychology. I did my master's degree at McMaster in religious studies. And then I returned to U of T for my doctoral studies, again in religious studies.
Wow. That's fantastic. Now, are you teaching at the university at all?
No, I got out of academic life. Uh, I didn't choose to go in that direction. Now I have come out from academic life. Now I'm just freely doing the public speaking around the world.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, how did you first get into starting speaking around the world? It was just doing like small lectures here locally in Canada, and then you were just invited to different temples, monasteries to speak in Europe. And
Yes, I started my teaching career here, and then people followed me, what I'm doing. And I think they loved what I'm doing here, what I'm teaching. So they thought I would be a nice fit for the public lecture in their centers. And so that's how I started. And then after giving the mindfulness meditation to Canadian police,
I saw
then
that post. Yes.
suddenly my program went viral in the world.
Wow.
So it was a kind of a new awakening for the world. Like people have never seen about 47 police officers coming to our center here, Mississauga, in uniform with all the guns and also in hand, and then practicing meditation. So those pictures turned out to be very powerful. And when I posted them in the Facebook, and they started exploding. And the people have never seen such a program, and they think this is good. So they were curious to know, so who is this monk?
Who is this guy?
Yeah. So they got to know is actually this monk living in Canada. So I was invited to do the similar program at Toronto Police Headquarters, Toronto Police Training College, Ottawa Police Headquarters, Niagara Region paramedics, and other paramedics in other regions, and then police departments in the United States, and those that program has been highlighted by the media as well following day. I did not have any intention of going to media. I just posted them in the Facebook, and so when they started going viral, and then Huffington Post Canada, Huffington Post USA, and other major media outlets came here, CTV, CBC, CP24,
Wow.
yeah, Global News, and even CNN.
What?
Also,
Really?
it happened during the police brutality that took place in Chicago and Dallas. And
Yes.
so it was the right timing. And then, all the people started talking about this, sharing about this. They started waking up. And they said, okay, what this monk is doing is amazing. Actually, that brought a good name for Canada. And I had to tell you this because, people think, oh yeah, it's Canada. Canada is such an amazing country. Canada is for peace. Canada is for meditation. See how Canadian police are hitting the road by practicing meditation. And they say, so they took Canadian police as a great example, role model for other police forces around the world. And so then they have shown a great interest in what I'm doing. And so whoever invited me, I just went there. I'm still going and offering my service and using this kind of recognition. I started doing another program, and that is, I don't know whether you have seen that. Officially, I call Canada a mindful and kind nation.
Yes, the founder and president. I saw that in the bio there. Yeah, that's fantastic. So can you speak a little bit about that too as well? Because I mean, that's just fantastic.
Yeah, so my global mission is to call every country a mindful and kind nation. And stay tuned for today or tomorrow. See what I'm going to post.
Okay.
for,
That's
for, for our friends down south.
Yeah, you know what? It's crazy, and that was one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. Because we live in this crazy era with COVID and all this violence, especially you see it reflected down in our brothers and sisters in the States and stuff like that, and we
Yeah.
see that, and I mean, it does, it does affect us up here too as well, as much as it's not directly, but more indirectly.
Yeah.
And I just thought that, because Buddhism is such a beautiful and simplistic thing, and like you're talking about, people are suffering, and there's a lot of craziness going on, and I figured this is like the perfect time to kind of get that message out about what you're doing and being mindfulness and kindness, because we've lost that. Like I have a hard time watching the news. Like I don't even like to watch the news anymore because you don't hear kindness, you don't hear compassion. It's just anger, violence, rage, and there's destructiveness. And then it's so divinely inspired how your perfect timing on teaching this course,
Yeah,
and then ended up now it's a worldwide phenomenon, this
yeah,
global amazing thing that you're doing and just
yeah.
spreading around. It's yeah,
Have you seen the logo of our mission?
no, I haven't seen the logo yet.
Yeah.
No.
And I also have created a logo for USA. I'm going to post it today or tomorrow in the
Oh,
social media.
fantastic. Fantastic.
And I'm also calling USA a mindful and kind nation. So
Yeah. That's a big mission. I hope you pull that off because they need some help down there. They definitely need some
people,
help.
I want to reach out to United Nations, and I have been aiming at that for some time. So this year, actually, I was very fortunate to receive an invitation to make a presentation about this movement at one of the UN panels discussions. So last September, as the global leaders were virtually talking, and they also organized virtual panel discussions. So I was a part of one panel, and I told them, you know, I presented the mission, and then I said, one day, I would like to call United Nations with this new brand name, United Kindful Nation.
That is perfect. You know, when you were speaking about the United Nations, I just got chills and goosebumps all about it. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, taking it to that type of level, I think it's, you know, I have 100% belief and faith that for sure you're going to be standing there physically present, speaking in front of those guys and
Yeah.
ladies, whoever the representatives, all those different countries, and bringing it. And it's really interesting that it's Buddhism and the philosophy of Buddhism that's bringing this to the stage. It's almost like Buddhism has been around for probably the longest of all religions, I believe. Is that
Uh,
correct?
it's like before Buddhism, it was Hinduism, or we call Brahmanism.
Okay.
Brahmanism or Vedism became Hinduism. So Jainism, Buddhism, Brahmanism, these were the contemporary spiritual traditions. You know, the Buddhism is as you said, you asked your very first question was whether Buddhism is a religion or philosophy or way of life. Actually, when you make something a religion, people have negative connotation about religion because of what's happening in the world right now.
Yes.
Because in the name of religion, people are becoming violent, you know, spreading hate and anger and violence. So the modern generation has a negative feeling about religion. What Buddha taught is actually it's not a religion. We don't call it Buddhism, by the way. It was the Westerners, the Orientalists. I don't know Orientalism.
Okay.
Orientalists, the Western scholars who study about the East, Eastern culture, religious thing, etc. So when Orientalists came across, you know, this Buddhist practice, they thought, you know, this is something very interesting, but this is not something religious, but they are familiar with the Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism, Islam, and so they put Buddhism, they call Buddha, and then ism, Buddhism. But in Buddhism, Buddha did not say something like that. It
Oh,
said, we call Buddha Bhasita, which means spoken by the Buddha, words by the Buddha. So when we say Buddha, Buddha is not a name. It is enlightenment, awakening. An enlightenment, awakening from what? Awakening from the dream of existence, freedom from the human suffering. You know, what Buddha, that's what Buddha called it Dhamma, or the Dhamma or Dharma. So the Dharma is the way. The meaning of Dharma is the way, is the path. It is what it is, the nature. So now, what is the nature of human beings? You see, no matter where you live, where we live, what we do, who we are, what social status we have, how rich, how poor we are, how educated, how uneducated we are, though we are black or white or yellow or brown or colored, no, not colored or whatever, but we are human beings, right, Michael? We are human
Yes.
beings.
Yes.
As human beings, we have a fundamental problem. What is the fundamental problem of human beings? Suffering.
That's so
So
true.
Buddha recognized that. He said, as human beings, we all are suffering. So the Buddha taught Dharma to liberate human beings from suffering.
So it's a way of just being. And that was one of the things I loved about the study of Buddhism. It actually shows you a pathway. Like these are the steps in order to free yourselves. And because the other religions, I find they don't really teach you that. It's just like, okay, you're supposed to do this, you got to behave this way, and that's it. But they don't try to teach you, like, because it almost takes like God is separate, and then there's you. And there's no way to get back there.
No.
And the thing is with this, is like between the meditation and developing your consciousness and getting to that state or that oneness. You actually have a system set up. So it's like, follow the step, do this. And this makes your life easy. And then you start to have that beautiful, Buddhist smile.
What Buddha meant by here is that, Buddha said, what I have accomplished, what I have achieved, what I have become, you also have the same capacity, power to become what I have become. He said, it's not just me. You also have the same power, same potential. The thing is, you have to do the work by yourself. And Buddha said, all I can do for you is to show you the way. I can give you guidelines. I can give you instructions from A to Z. And it's like, how in modern day, Madam Siri, Madam Siri is giving the instructions, right? So in the same way, actually, Apple company, right? they borrowed that concept from the Buddha.
I'm sure there's a lot of things that people have been borrowing from the Buddha ever since the inception of Buddha. I mean, it's just amazing how a lot of parallels and similarities,
So then Buddha said, I can give you the instructions, follow this, follow that. And if you follow this unwholesome thing, your life is going to be miserable. If you follow this wholesome thing, your life is going to be a happy one. So choice is yours, but I can't force you. The Buddha said, Buddha can drag you for some time, and Buddha can pull you into the water, like how we pull the horse into the water, but we can force the horse to drink the water. Right? So Buddha knew this, and he said, I can show you the way. Here are the clear instructions. Now, if you think this is what you're looking for, feel free to follow that path. And if you don't, that is also okay with me. Because the Buddhism never forces anyone to do the practice.
That's beautiful.
Has to be up to you.
And I think that's why I know a lot of people who are kind of leaving the original face that they were born up with, because it's more forced upon you. Everything seems like it's a forced issue with that. And that's the thing, the beauty about Buddhism, it's not forced. It's like, here you go. There's no judgment. There's kindness, compassion. Here are some of the things you need to do. It's very simple. And just, and then it's so simple. It's almost it's so crazy how simple it is. When you think, when you describe it.
Yes, simple message. Basically, of course, Buddha talked about so many things because it's also a philosophy, right?
Yes.
It's a philosophy, a way of life. And Buddhism is teaching you and art of living a happy and peaceful life, a free life. And now, how do you live that art of living a happy life? Well, there are 3 steps. First, stop doing bad things, and second, do the good things. And then third is learn to purify your mind. So learning to purify your mind is very important.
Okay, so that's one of the things I want to talk about is purifying the mind.
Yeah.
This actually ties into something about meditation. Now, I'm a big fan of meditation. I think it's the most fabulous thing in the world.
Yeah.
Is that one of the key things about cleansing the mind is to basically go into meditation?
Yes. There are some steps to cleanse your mind.
Okay, could you just touch on that? That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So again, that's what I was actually going to talk to you previously, but we got derailed.
It happened. This is an organic conversation, so. Yeah.
So you took me to different direction.
Yeah.
But it's good that we are coming back to the same thing, right?
Yeah.
This is the most important part. So how do you purify your mind? Let's again, those 4 steps, right? And prevention, elimination, cultivation of development, and preservation. So prevention, first refrain from unwholesome deeds, which maybe you have done them, maybe you're about to do them, or maybe in the future you're going to do them. So prevent yourself from doing those negative things. And that's a must. And then the second, elimination. Let's say you have already done something good. As you don't repeat what you have done all this time, now let's say you have done something, it's already remaining. So slowly, you remove them from your mind and heart. Okay?
Okay.
Maybe you may not be, let's say, hurting someone. Okay? But you still have this mental image of hurting. So then you need to remove that mental image of hurting someone or doing something negative. So to reduce or to remove this mental image, and then train your mind to do good. So you do something good every day, physically, verbally, mentally. Let's say you have never spoken kind words. Now see whether you can speak some kind words to yourself and to others, right? Yeah. And then all this time, let's say you have been using F words, okay?
Yes, yes, okay.
So now intentionally you're training. Of course, you have the tendency to say it because you have repeated that so many times. Your mind has become conditioned with that F word. Now, instead of saying it, see whether you can say, oh, you're such a beautiful person. You're such a kind person. Oh my goodness, I love you so much, right?
And that might be a challenge on this end, but yes, yeah, for sure.
Right? So now you train, you cultivate that, you develop that. And then you could do so many good things in so many ways, okay? And you can practice giving, you can practice morality, you can practice kindness, you can practice compassion, you can care for yourself and others. And doing good is not just for others, even for yourself. So you just help, you help others, you help yourself. You help yourself, you help others. And so if you haven't done practice of giving, now you can try doing the practice of giving. If you haven't done the practice of morality, now you can try doing the practice of morality. Now how so? Let's say Uh, in Buddhism, every Buddhist is required, or maybe when I use the word requirement, no, it's a practice.
Yeah.
If you call yourself a Buddhist, okay, as a Buddhist, you are expected to follow or the practice 5 training principles. They are known as the 5 precepts.
Yeah.
So refrain from taking life, refrain from stealing, refrain from sexual misconduct, refraining from lying, refrain from consuming alcohol and drugs. So let's say all these years you have done all these 5 things, 5 negative actions, let's say.
Yeah.
So you have stopped doing them. But although you have stopped, the problem didn't solve. Now to take yourself to another stage, now you have to train yourself to do or cultivate the opposite of those 5 negative actions. Okay, so that's where the peace and happiness come from. That's where the freedom come from.
So it's just that switch, right? It's just that switch.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. So this is what people don't know. People just keep hurting and doing all the negative things, but they're stuck with that. And that's why people are becoming unhealthy. That's why we see there are problems in personal level, in family level, in social level, in national level, and global level. Why? Everywhere people are, hating one another. They're killing one another. They're stealing from others. They are abusing the relationship. They're lying to one another, and they are consuming drugs, alcohol, and these things are making people unhealthy. And people are becoming sick. So if you really love yourself, then the very first thing is to stop. Put in a period, just put a stop. Okay, that's it. Okay?
Okay.
And then if you stop, you have already started loving yourself. Okay? And then now to show more care to yourself, now you want to transform your life for the brighter side of your life. Now for that, okay, what is the opposite of taking life, killing? Giving life. Don't take life. Just give freedom to everyone, right? And instead of stealing, practice giving. See whether you can practice generosity. Instead of abusing the relationship, see whether you can be faithful and respect it. And instead of lying, see whether you can speak the truth. And instead of consuming alcohol and drugs, see whether you can learn to only drink apple juice, orange juice.
Now, I just got to ask you, is coffee one of those intoxicating substances that we have to refrain from, or caffeine? Is that part of it?
No, but people can say it has a caffeine. But well, now any substance that has the power to make you drunk, unconscious, and this unconscious drunk mind which makes you to do the wrong things.
Okay.
So the coffee doesn't make you do something like that, right?
No.
It's only the drugs and
alcohol. Yeah.
So so these things. So what it means is that when you take alcohol and drugs, you become unconscious. Then you don't know what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're thinking. So the opposite of that is the consciousness, like pure consciousness, like you're fully aware. Right now, you and I are being very mindful. We know now if we were to drink, he was a wonderful.
There might be a few F-bombs coming our way, it's like, Well, I'll go back to the original one. It's like, oh, forget this. Buddhism. What's going on?
Yeah. So here, what it means is, so you need to cultivate the good side of everything. You need to do the good things. Train yourself to do good things, and cultivate them. And then, and also, let's say the thoughts also. Okay, thoughts also. So all these years, and let's say negative thoughts popped up. Now you have negative thoughts popped up because you have been doing the negative things. Now you have stopped doing the negative things. You have refrained from the negative things. Now negative thoughts are not intensely popping up, but it still has the tendency to pop up.
Yeah.
So to change that mind, then you train the mind to do the good, to think the good thoughts, and speak the good words. And when you continue doing these good things, and then next step, preservation, just maintain it. Just keep doing it every
Just
day, all the good things.
practicing over
Yeah.
and over and over.
Yeah. So then, in reality, what happens is that when 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 there's a pile up of all the negative things, it's like, you have a big dustbin,
Yeah.
okay, or industrial dustbin, and people keep dumping all the garbage.
Yeah. Over and
And
over.
people keep dumping all the garbage. Do you think people can live around that
Nope. Not at
garbage?
all. Not at all.
So it stings.
Yeah.
So that is stinking. That is the problem. That is the suffering. And then when you keep dumping all the garbage, even garbage bin becomes heavy.
Yeah.
So in the same way, when you keep doing the sinful acts or bad deeds, bad things, and they start becoming full of burdens of garbage and the negative things, and then eventually there comes a moment, this becomes very heavy. You can't handle it anymore.
Yeah. It's a
Remember,
big weight.
you can't handle it anymore. That is dukkha.
Yeah.
It's full of burden. And then you're shrinking. Oh, you're complaining. Oh my goodness. It's heavy, it's heavy.
Just let it go.
Yeah. So then in Buddhism, what is it? Okay, now you know it's heavy. First, you need to be mindful how it became heavy, right? Because all this year you have been dumping all these things, right?
Yes.
Now, if you don't want to suffer from this burden, stop dumping.
Well said. Well said, my friend.
So your mind can be a dustbin, right? At the same time, it also could be a flower garden.
Oh, beautiful. Well said, my friend. Well
Yeah.
said. Well, my friend, we're almost out of time here, and I am so grateful and very humble that you found the time, to come on my show. It really means a lot to me. It re-inspired me to kind of get back into my spiritual traditions. And I'm fantastic. So for all you people who are listening, though, where can they find you? Where can they follow you? If they want to make a donation to the temple, what can they do?
Well, people always can find me in the social media. In the Instagram, they can find me as the Urban Buddhist Monk, and they can find me in LinkedIn, the
Okay.
Bhante Saranapala, the Urban Buddhist Monk, and in Facebook, Bhante Saranapala, because that's why people call me the Urban Buddhist Monk. I'm the monk of the 21st century. I'm an urban monk. People can easily find me. And I have a website, urbanbuddhistmonk.org, and also they can see all my mission activities by visiting another website. Is called Canada, a mindfulnation.ca.
Wow. Beautiful. Well
Yeah.
said, my friend. Well said, my friend. And just before we leave there, can you just give a little bit of just inspiration to our listeners? And that's one of the reasons I developed this channel is just to, if you just leave a little bit of inspiration. So if somebody's listening and they are suffering, a little piece of that beautiful wisdom that you have there.
Well, all I want to say something very deep, but don't take. I would like your audience not to take this as a negative message. But when I talk about it, sometimes they might take it negative. But it's
Okay.
not negative. It's very something deep, but very meaningful, life-changing experience. Always keep in mind, we are not here in this world to live forever. We are going to say goodbye to one another soon or one day. But before we say goodbye to one another, my friend, we all have to do something meaningful, good for others, yourself and others. So you can do so many meaningful and good things for yourself and others. You can practice giving, you can be kind, you can meditate, you can help others, you can share, you can care for everyone, you can respect. And if you can't help others, if you can't do any good thing for others, then at least try not to hurt anyone.
Beautiful. Well said, my friend. Again, thank you so much. You're an absolute pleasure. You have a beautiful energy. I love your message. Continue on with what you're doing. You just really inspired me. And I really hope people listening and watching this right now, that they get inspired to follow you on Instagram, Facebook, and all that sort of thing. Again, awesome. Thank you so very, very much. You're listening to the Metaphysical Mentor podcast with Michael Philpott. Thanks so much for listening, and we will see you soon. Goodbye for now.
Thank you.